Dies ist ein Podcast des Communicator von Trackzone Network. Entdecke jetzt mit uns die unendlichen Weiten von Star Trek auf www.trackzone.de.
Herzlich willkommen im Zehn, Vorne. Mein Name ist Marc und ich war auch dieses Jahr wieder für euch auf der FedCon Außenmission. Seit 7 Jahren sind wir für euch auf der FedCon unterwegs. In diesem Jahr haben wir auserwählte Vorträge aufgenommen, die wir euch jetzt gern präsentieren möchten. Heute präsentieren wir euch Robert Kaiser, Star Trek Filming Sites 1 in der Sprache Englisch.
It's only half an hour, so I'm starting right away. This one is in English. Does anyone not understand English? Versteht irgendwer nicht Englisch? Okay, because I did this last time in German, the same one, so I thought this time I'm doing it in English. The one tomorrow, which is the second part, is in German. But the second part is you don't need this one. You know it anyhow because you're here. But even if I have a few other places in there and especially other series pictures in there. So I see some people have taken off their masks. Theoretically, in everything except the main room, you have to have it on. But I mean, I don't care too much. That's just what they told me. So yeah, let's start with this. Star Trek, the filming sites. The story is Star Trek, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the fans, their continuing mission to explore the sites of on-location filming of their favorite productions, to take photographs, to boldly go where film crews have gone before. I'm Robert Kaiser. The nickname is Cairo that you may see in different places. I'm an IT freelancer. Right now I'm doing a lot of blockchain stuff, especially I'm a tech speaker for Mozilla, or have been for a number of years, and I'm a fan of all the Star Trek series, really all of them. There is no bad Star Trek, in my opinion, in terms of whole series. There is a few clunker episodes here and there, but it's all fine. And especially of Deep Space Nine. I'm fascinated by all the stories and by the writing, the philosophy, the moral stories in there, and all the behind-the-scenes stuff, like where it's produced, like what they use on the sets, and so on. I also love traveling to the USA when it's possible, which was not so much in the last 1.5 years or so. And I'm a Las Vegas convention regular. That is, when I can go there, because there was one convention this year where I couldn't go. I had tickets, I just couldn't go there, because the US didn't let anyone in, as we know. But I have been at those conventions usually, so I get a lot to that whole area around LA and Las Vegas. And company-wise, I have been traveling to San Francisco, and there was one movie that was playing in San Francisco for a bit. And that's the one with the whales, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. I think everybody doesn't call it with the official title anymore, they just say the one with the whales. And there's this one famous scene in there where Kirk just runs over the street in front of a cab, and it stops, and the driver says, "Look where you're going, you dumbass." And Kirk says, "Well, double dumbass on you." So we call it the double dumbass corner, where this happened. They, of course, walk across the street, and then when they walk across the street, you see a little bit more of the scene. with the houses behind it and so on. And you actually can go there, and this is actually in San Francisco. They actually went there. You see here, this is a photo I took in 2016, and I see there's something, oh, it's my mask that's still in this picture. And what is this over here? Okay, this is the end of the picture here, yeah. Doesn't matter. Oh, there's a cable right in front of the screen here. That may be something. Technical stuff. So this is a picture I took in 2016. I went on a tour with about 30 Star Trek fans and Larry Nemecek, who wrote the companion for Next Generation and has been working as a journalist for the official magazine and things like that. And he's doing tours now. By the way, even this, track lane tours. If you ever get to LA and want to see some places where Star Trek filmed, Larry Nemecek does tours to some of those locations. But when you go to this location, you usually don't take this picture. I took this picture because it matches the other one. You usually take this picture, because that's way more interesting. But it's a picture that a corner that a lot of people go to, because you see one of the oldest buildings in San Francisco and one of the skyscrapers right next to each other. By the way, this skyscraper, now called the Transamerica Pyramid, was called the Gulf and Western Pyramid back then. And Gulf and Western was the mother company of Paramount back then. That's why you see it in this movie a lot, because they said, of course, we need to have the building of our mother company there. Of course, when tourists go to San Francisco, there's another place they go, and where Spock and Kirk went as well, which is the Golden Gate Bridge. We went there with our tour as well, and we tried to do a fitting image with Larry Nemecek as Spock and the Terrace from the tour company, Geek Nation Tours, as Kirk. I mean, we didn't have anything to put around his head, so he just took his jacket or what it was. But you often see the Golden Gate Bridge in fog, just like here. To get a shot where it's clear is pretty rare, actually. But let's stay with this movie for another bit, and you see this is the same graphic as I have on my t-shirt, and Spock is standing up there. That's on Vulcan. Though when Kirk looked there, he should have remembered those rocks, because he was there earlier on. He was there in Arena. He even found some interesting stuff there. And that's Vasquez Rocks in Los Angeles County, near Los Angeles. One of, I think, the most famous places where Star Trek was ever done. Of course, what you think about when you think of Vasquez Rocks first is this scene with Kirk and the Gorn. Fun thing is that when you go to Vasquez Rocks, you actually drive in here. That's the road in. And you park here. So when you go there, your view looks like this. There's no Kirk and no Gorn there. But it looks exactly like it was even back in the 60s in Arena. This tree, by the way, you will never find it because they only put it there for the production. That was never there. Then the Gorn himself, if you are lucky, as we were in 2016 with our tour, you even can meet him. That's Bob, who was behind, I forget his last name right now. Bob something. He was in the costume back then, so a fan made this hat for him, but he was the actual guy in this whole lot of rubber. They had to cut off the tips of the fingers of this rubber suit so his sweat could drip off because it was a really hot day. It's usually hot there. And we could meet him. He told us where they did all the different scenes and so on. That's the good thing if you do this such a large tour with Larry, and you even can shoot him if you want to, or even, mock shoot him. But let's move on to a completely different place. Starfleet Academy in this case, in the first duty, or Starfleet headquarters in Deep Space Nine Homefront, headquarters again in Voyager in the Flesh. You have this modern building, you have this park, you will see this a lot. They even distorted it for a very alien thing in Voyager time and again, where it was a power plant that blew up. This is how it looks in reality. This is the Japanese garden at the Tillman Water Reclamation Plant in LA. That's a public park. You can go there. It's about, I think, $6 or so, or $8 to get in. Quite cheap, and it's a very beautiful scenery. And this building is actually the administration building for the water plant. The wastewater plant is just behind this building. And there's one point back there where you can go up and you see the actual wastewater plant. It's not that nice, but the Japanese garden was done to show what you can do with this cleaned water. The first time you saw this was here, though. It was not on Earth. It was not Starfleet Academy or anything. It was an alien planet in Justice, where you know the famous one where Wesley just wanted to catch a ball and tripped over some plants, and then they wanted to kill him for that. That episode with those lovely, well-clothed people. Same place. And this is how the entrance looks in reality, where you just saw those guys, and this is the other view in reality. So it's really close. It's just, you see that it's the administration building. Of course, they put something in front of there. But they didn't change a lot. Some other scenes from there where you saw Picard and Boothby. Here we have one of our guys as Picard with Larry Nemecek as Boothby. And the same location where Janeway was with Boothby is this one. So you can actually find all that. It was a cheap filming location for them because it's only about 20 minutes from the studios. And it's a public place that they can easily close off. Another place they easily could go to, about 15 minutes from the studios, is what we see here. In the 60s already in Brighton Circuses, you see this rock formation here. You will find that in a lot of other places, like in Attached in TNG, or the Voyager landed there in the 37s. So we are at 3 different planets already. And this is the rock as it looks in reality. This bump here, you will see it on one of the next pictures, is just when you go a little bit more to the left here, then this rock here is this bump. I did not want to take away what you see in a minute here in this view, but this is Bronson Canyon in Griffith Park. It's, as I said, really easy to get to. You don't even need to pay if you want to go there yourself. And Picard even looked across that rock in the inner light, which is yet another planet. And you see here a little bit better that this is the same rock. They just painted something else in here. And if you look actually there, that's why in the Voyager shot they had to retouche something as well, because you don't really want to see the Hollywood sign when Voyager lands. doesn't look like the Delta Quadrant anymore. So let's go one step even further and to a different series. Let's give some love to Enterprise as well. The Cindy, where you see Trip's sister being killed by this beam. That was one of the cheapest on-location shots that they did at all, because this is in Paramount Studios itself, actually, this fountain. So we went there. This is the fountain right in front of their theater. So in my back as the photographer, there is their on-premises theater where they show movies, the Paramount Theater. And they have this nice fountain, and as you see, this is exactly the same thing. I think they did the shot. They may have done the shot actually in the other direction, and this may be painted in for the Paramount Theater, but I'm not completely sure in which direction they did it. But yeah, it's directly in Paramount Studios. And while we are there, there's important history there. Paramount Pictures is I think the last studio that is actually in Hollywood. Most of the others that exist, Warner and Disney and Sony, have them a little bit off in Burbank. But you see the Hollywood sign here, so you can imagine Bronson Canyon, where you saw the Hollywood sign as well, is not too far in this direction, roughly. And what's now stage 31 and 32, which is to the right of this, where Desilu stages 9 and 10, that's where the original series were filmed. Stage 30 and 29 was where the series Mission Impossible was filmed at the same time. So there's a lot of history there in this just 4 stage buildings at the back of Desilu, or now Paramount, and over a little bit in the same studios. You see stage 6 written here, there's 8 and 9 behind them, and there's 12 over here, and 15 and a few others. This view here was called Star Trek Way in the 90s, because on the left side there was first, in 8 and 9, there was Next Generation, and then Voyager with the standing set, so the bridge and all those things that they used every week. And on the right side, there was DS9 with the promenade and so on. So basically, to the right and the left, you had all Star Trek, and you had Cardassians and Romulans and Klingons running around on this way. And so they called it the Star Trek Way, because there was all the crazy Star Trek people there. But let's move on a little bit further out, and let's go to the Q continuum, because Earth and planets are boring, right? So in Death Wish, they visualized the Q continuum, and they went to this lonesome road in the desert and this gas station next to it. Well, you can actually go there. It's just a little bit north of LA. It's built as a film set. It's called the Club Ed movie set. It looks a bit worn down right now, but if you want to do something and have the money to have them painted, that's no problem, because it's just a movie set. They can do whatever they want with it. This sign wasn't there because they built a second movie set thing here in addition, with a little restaurant. You cannot enter this without actually asking them, because that's a private property, but it's built as a movie set, as I said. And it's just in the middle of the desert. There's really nothing there, so they didn't have to paint anything in. But while we are in the desert, there was another movie that had desert scenes, or at least scenes with a lot of rocks and nothing there. That's Star Trek Generations, as you see in the corner. And here we have our nice English-French captain in front of nothing. A lot of desert. This is in Valley of Fire State Park. If you go there, this rock formation, I think, is the same as this one. Or is it this one? It's very close. This seems to be this one. I think this is actually this one, and I think it's the ones over here that you see there. It's pretty much the same location that I was at. We went there as well with the 2016 tour. And Larry Nemecek even has the plan on how they put all those metal pieces on the rocks where they climbed around. With this captain, with Picard, with Soren, and with another captain. And here we have this other captain as well, our astronaut captain nowadays. You have Captain Kirk, Picard, and Soren on this bridge. One thing is they had to build all those metal pieces, those bridges and so on, without destroying any rock, because that's a national park. You cannot remove or destroy anything there. So they had to be very careful. They even had all the stones you see on Kirk's grave that they put there. They collected them together, put them there, and then they had to throw them back where they were, because this is all a national park. You cannot change anything. The only thing is Michael Westmore, the makeup guy, who was there with them to touch up their makeup, picked one stone before they threw them all down, and he has that one still at his home in a glass container that says only known stone from Kirk's grave. And this bridge is still in the national park. You can go there. I mean, you usually don't get Larry to incorporate Soren, but we tried to do our best and have someone incorporate Kirk and Picard and Kirk here. I mean, the uniform is not completely right, but it's at least an original series one. To have some fun with this. The bridge is not in its original location. When they removed all those things, they said to the National Park Administration, do you need any of our pieces? Because we will just throw them to the trash. If you need any of this, just take it. And the administration took the bridge and put it over a temporary creek here. And so you can actually walk over this creek or canyon, and you can go there yourself and then play Kirk dying under the bridge or whatever you want. And with that, this is the end of this part. As I said, I have a few other locations in the second park. Those long tours, like I did in 2016, are done by Geek Nation Tours if you're interested. They will have another one next year, probably. Portal47.net is where Larry Nemecek has a lot of insight about behind-the-scenes stuff. Galactic Friendship is the fan club I'm part of in Austria. And on filmingsites.com, I have a very experimental website that has all those locations and others on a map. It's very crude, experimental as a website, but it works well as a map for especially Star Trek locations. All the locations I know are on there, including some from Picard, some from Discovery. So if you're into the more modern things, that's there as well. If you want to find me, cairo.at is my website, and you will find contacts for me there. And with that, thank you for coming. I don't know, we are pretty good on time. If you have any questions, I'm very open to them. Are there any questions? Yep.
Can you been to the aquarium where they took the whales from?
I think that's in the second. I think I put it in the second one. I did 3 so far. I know it's in one of them. But yes, we were in the 2016 tour. We also went to the aquarium. I have been to it before as well. So not all of those pictures are from the 2016 tours. I'm going to locations myself outside of that as well. But yes, I have been there. Actually, a lot of the things you see there in the movie are still there. I just didn't want to put too much Star Trek 4 into this. Even the whales that you see on the ceiling are still in the museum. They just moved them a little bit because they built some kind of bridge in there that goes across where the whales were before. So they moved them a little bit to the side. But it's very similar. You just will not find any whales there. It's actually... They had sea otters there at some point, and it looks like it looked when the whales were gone, when the water was down. That's how it looks in reality. The water at the same level as those walkways, that was all done artificially. And the actual whale tail fin that you see, that was filmed directly at Paramount. They had a rubber tail fin on some rail tracks. They have a huge parking spot that goes a little bit down that they fill with water. They call it the water tank. And then they had those tracks in there and the rubber fin, and that went up and down. So it looked like an actual whale tail fin. And they also did all those scenes there where you see the bird of prey and Kirk and Spock. That was all done in this water tank that has a blue wall behind it, so they can actually make it look like it's on high sea or whatever. Any other questions? Yeah.
Which aquarium is that?
The Monterey Bay Aquarium, which is close to San Francisco.
Which is also where the cannery was. Also there is a thing.
Yeah. Cannery Row is also the actual area next to the aquarium.
And the aquarium previously was a fish factory.
Yeah. You even see in Star Trek 4, you see half of the logo of that cannery in the one shot where what's her name, the whale scientist drives to the institute and gets out of the car, and there's one guy just spraying the walkways there. You see the front of the Monterey Bay Aquarium, or the Sausalito Cetacean Institute, as they call it in the film, and you see half of the logo of the old cannery, which is still there. Any other questions? If not, then thanks for coming. If you're interested in a little bit more of this, tomorrow at 15:30 back here, there's more of this in German.
Vielen Dank für euren Besuch in 10 Vorne. Ich hoffe, euch hat die spezielle Folge genauso gut gefallen wie mir, und ich hoffe, wir sehen uns demnächst wieder hier in 10 Vorne.